having integrated systems. So when the systems are together, I mean, I know we just spoke about data storage, having that in the cloud, pretty much at everybody's fingertips. No matter where you are, it's safe, it's secure, and it's always going to be there for you. But then that also comes into play when, hey, maybe you don't have one system doing everything for you, but you do still want your time tracking data, you want your payroll data within that system as well. You still want that in the cloud. You still want it on at your fingertips. So when you're working with solutions such as Lumber and Acumatica, you want your timesheet data. Great, it's still in Acumatica because it's being pushed over because they're integrated solutions. You need a payroll journal or a pay stub from somebody 4 weeks ago. Great, it's probably in Acumatica. At least the payroll journal is there for you. Things like that. So when you have integrated solutions, just to that cloud point that we were just speaking about, not only are you getting that information that's stored within that system, all the systems that it's connected to, you still have access to that information as well.
And that's important. You look at the examples Mary shared from whether it's a mobile device, whether it's a laptop, whether it's any kind of device, anytime, anywhere, that connection to one location has the field and finance virtually together at the hip on a project, which drives the other relevant points listed here regarding WIP reporting, that visibility and transparency into where a project is at, as current as we are. So as current as the data is recorded, it's as current as reporting can be. And I think about that idea of getting a day's work done in a day helps us to be as current as you can, which supports not only regular forecasting, the period end close, where you do have to take a moment and put some things in a report card that lead into some of those choices that people get to make around where to move forward with a current project and prospective projects. And having data to support those decisions, that empirical data that provides that basis for the decisions going forward, are those benefits that happen when we have solutions like Lumber and Acumatica talking to each other and connecting that field in the back office.
Great point,
Yeah.
Joel.
I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, when your payroll and job costing are operating in silos, it creates delays, inaccuracies, and blind spots in your financial data, to be quite honest. When you integrate, you have that single source of truth. So you've got your labor and your expenses captured in real time and assigned to the jobs, the tasks, the cost codes, as they happen. So it improves your accuracy and enables your project managers, your finance team, your owners to monitor the profitability and forecast the cash flow, resources, and make those informed decisions without waiting till the end of the week for those reports or the data to actually get updated in the system. It's huge.
Yeah, definitely. And then just still on the topic of integrated systems, and decision making, when you have that real time data coming in and the systems are, talking to each other as well, and you're not having to do any sort of dual entry or extra calculations when you're moving data from one system to another. At the end of the day, that's freeing up a ton of time for most companies that aren't currently on an integrated system. They make that switch. They have all this free time all of a sudden that they can allocate somewhere else and find more operational efficiencies. So it's kind of almost like a snowball where you make one improvement, you now have time to go make other improvements. And maybe it's something that a software can't fix. Maybe it's, there's no software out there that's going to make every guy in the field clock into the right cost code and the right project every day. That's probably the biggest issue.
I wish there was.
Yeah, they would be a very, very successful company. But the truth is there's not. There's only some things. There's a ton of things that, only humans can handle. So you can then spend that time with site supervisors or those admins, making sure other information is organized and correct, to more efficiently improve every part of the operation, not just that financial aspect of job costing and reporting. But it opens up a whole new door to, potential improvements down the road, and that keeps snowballing into more and more. And then, in a dream scenario, you're saving as much time as possible. You're able to take on more projects. You're able to increase that workload and then become more profitable over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you've got half of your staff tied up for half of the week, just trying to get all of this information into the system, it's really hard to get efficient because there's too much work. There's just not enough hours in the day. One person calls in sick, and that really can be a disaster. When you are relying on key people that need to be there to get these, processes done that are so cumbersome and time consuming. When do they have time? When do they have time to actually make things better or focus on, what can we do to make this better? Hey, I see a problem over here. How can we correct that? Because now you can see the problems as they're happening, not 2 weeks later after it's too late. And, somebody worked a bunch of, you had a crew work a bunch of overtime on a project that was already running pretty thin profit margins. And now, now you're losing money. Now, what do you do? So having that visibility each week and it's not just labor when you integrate, when you've got that ERP and all those integrations, you've got your materials and your subcontractors and all of those other costs that are also feeding in and factoring into those decisions. But again, labor is typically your biggest concern. That is the one that can go south quickly. Everything else is pretty much quoted. Labor is a wild card, or it can be.
And Noah, if you share the next slide, I think directly flows into the points you and Mary were just describing of that integrated workflow that reduces that paperwork, improves accuracy. In the example here where that time is being captured in the field by the crew, by that admin, by that person themselves. Those automatic payroll calculations, that's information from a labor perspective is visible right away. As you process the full payroll, pushing that into the ERP application, job costing in an Acumatica, it feeds those reports, I'll call them, not just financial, or consider them operational as well, in the perspective of WIP and that detailed tracking by job. That gives those team members that ability to review, make decisions when a project is tight and running thin, and how to best optimize things going forward. So that integrated workflow there takes advantage of that best of breed, as you described. That Acumatica can leverage and talk with Lumber, that it becomes a close to seamless experience for the users.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm happy we brought that back up. And this map is great because it really shows you, you can see every arrow here, and this is what's, saving people the most amount of time. These transfers are automatic through integrated systems. So every arrow, you see 4 arrows on the screen here, this is where companies have the opportunity to save time just on dual entry alone. And then you come up with all the other factors that we have just spoken about in the past 45 minutes, feeding into all that as well. It really makes you think how much more is possible for a lot of these companies. And there's, new platforms coming in every day. Acumatica is integrating with them. They're making them partners, establishing workflows with them. So it's really exciting to see all the amazing stuff that's happening at the moment.